Hello everyone, welcome back to AZ 500 series. And today in the AD module, we are going to talk about Azure AD Connect installation. As you can see on the screen, we have multiple options for Azure AD Connect installation. So it is more like we have downloaded the Azure AD Connect on a selected server that we have discussed in the previous video, which is the best server. If you remember, it's domain join Windows 2012 or later. And once you start running that AD Connect package, we get options like express settings or custom settings. Express settings option automatically uses certain defaults. It is not for customization, but just run it, use it with all the default settings, such as password hash sync. Instead of presenting us with an option to select the authentication method that we want to implement. Now, what authentication method? If you remember, we had pass-through and federation, or password hash. So password hash is the default. So we don't get the option to choose the other options here. Same goes with the synchronization. Synchronization of all users in a single domain, instead of giving us filtering options to decide which objects we want to sync. And same goes with the SQL, because we need the database, sync database. It's going to use the SQL Express, but you can choose your own. And for that, you got to choose custom settings, where we have a choice to select required option as per our need. So custom setting options gives us the flexibility to select our implementation options and customize this tool for our specific requirements. We can select authentication method, as I said, PHS, PTA, ADFS, or other federation. If we select federation or PTA, we can choose to use PHS, password hash, as a backup in the event that our on-prem infrastructure experience downtime. We covered this in the last video. We can choose to use built-in SQL, right? Here we have SQL Express. We can use built-in SQL Express database or a licensed SQL server for the sync database implementation. We have a choice here. We can choose our setup to work for a multi-domain scenario. We can choose to filter the objects to sync. We can choose the objects attributes that we want Azure AD Connect to sync. So we have multiple choices here. Now, what we're gonna do, I have captured these screenshots to save the time, each and every screenshots, and let's go through the installation process. So in the next slide, when we run the package, this option comes up. Welcome to Azure AD Connect, and we need to click on, after agreement, we'll click on continue. And then we have two options, customize and use express settings, as we said or shared in the first slide. Now, express setting has all the defaults, so we will not go with the express because we know what we're gonna find. Hence customize, so that we know what all options we can customize and or we have to choose or to customize. So in next option, once you choose the customize, this install required components will come. This slide, what I'm showing right now in the visual, this will come, and we have the options: custom installation location, existing SQL server, sync groups, and all those things. And then we'll click on install, and under user sign-in page, the next one, we have the authentication method to choose. Federation with Ping Federate, ADFS, PTA, and PHS. We can select as per requirement, or we can also enable the single sign-on for your corporate desktop users in the perimeter. Now, once we selected as per requirement, then we need to connect with the Azure AD. If you remember, we need global admin for this. Yes, there were like two prereq or the essential step we talked about Azure AD Connect. The other one was enterprise admin from on-premises AD side, and from Azure AD side, it was global admin. Select that. Next. Now here, we need to add our directory. Now it's talking about your on-premises directory. Once we connect it, then it will ask for enterprise admin username. If you have with you, you can use that, or if you do not have, you can allow AD Connect to create one for you. You should have the sufficient permission for this, right? And then once we have our forest configure, you can see it is verified, the green mark here, and we can simply go ahead and sign in the Azure AD. Now, in the Azure AD sign-in page, there is a warning stating users will not be able to sign into Azure AD with on-prem credentials if the UPN suffix does not match a verified domain name. It is more like usually on-premises Windows AD, which is your private Active Directory we use, like abc.local or abc, things like that, you know. So, but in Azure AD, when we customize domain, we verified it and it is a public domain, right? So that's what it's talking about. We need a verified one. And then we can continue without matching all UPN suffix to verified domains, just to sync. And then here we can select all those that we want to sync, all those OUs that we want to sync. And now at the last, we have some optional features. One of them is password write back, which is an amazing feature. We'll cover it in the next video. It would be a short video. We'll talk about what it is and how we can utilize it and what is the benefit of this optional feature. Now, we have last option where we have what we have configured and start the synchronization process when configuration complete and install. Now configuration is complete and it will start synchronizing, and within some time you would have something like that where it says directly synced. No, yes. Few users are coming from the synced directory. So that's all about this video, and these screenshots I have borrowed from the Google. Just wanted to share. Thank you. I hope you liked it, you learned it. Let's meet in another video with password write back. Thank you. Bye-bye.